lovely Friday morning today, 19th September 2025. Thank you so much for joining us on Parliament Television as we wait for live parliamentary proceedings at 09 hours. To be on live commentary, my name is Matimba Mkua.
Good morning, I'm Claudette Sindaza Jonga, and on sign language, as usual, we have Chola Kauma and Jason Manda.
And so we go straight and look at business that was considered on the floor of the House yesterday, Thursday, 18th September 2025. When business commenced at 14:30, Madam First Deputy Speaker did make some announcements. Madam First Deputy Speaker acquainted the House with the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Northview Academy School in Mpika District. Madam First Deputy Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, warmly welcomed the guests to the National Assembly.
In the same vein, Madam Speaker, the First Deputy Speaker did acquaint the House with the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Real Vine Christian School in Lusaka District, and on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, she warmly welcomed the guests to the National Assembly. We did have another announcement where the Second Deputy Speaker acquainted the House with the presence in the Speaker's Gallery of the participants of the Parliamentary Strategic Planning High-Level Workshop that was held in Lusaka. And the Second Deputy Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, warmly welcomed the distinguished guests to the National Assembly.
After those announcements, there was a ruling which was rendered by Madam First Deputy Speaker. Before rendering her ruling, Madam First Deputy Speaker observed that Mr. Mutotwe Kafaya, Member of Parliament for Lunte, the subject of the ruling, was not in the House. She then stated that in line with parliamentary practice and procedure, a member found in breach of parliamentary privilege and contempt of the House was required to be present in the House when the ruling was being delivered. She then stated that in that regard, Mr. Mutotwe Kafaya MP was contacted by the Office of the Clerk to inform him to be present in the House on Thursday, 18th September 2025, but Mr. Kafaya MP elected to be present from the House, and as such she would proceed to render the ruling in his absence.
And so Madam First Deputy Speaker reminded the House that on Wednesday, 16th July 2025, when the House was considering the report of the Committee on Energy, Water Development and Tourism, and Mr. M.F. Fuwe, Member of Parliament for Chilubi, was debating, Mr. F.C. Jatila, Member of Parliament for Momba, raised a point of order as to whether Mr. Kafwaya, MP, was in order to misconduct himself and disrespect the presiding officer while debating.
Madam First Deputy Speaker observed that the point of order by Mr. Fred Jatila MP raised the issue of a member exhibiting disorderly conduct on the floor of the House and also showing disrespect to the presiding officer. She then addressed the aforementioned issues by referring to the following authorities. Number 1, Section 19 D and E of the National Assembly, Powers and Privileges Act, Chapter 12 of the Laws of Zambia, and Standing Order 213, 1 and 2, and Standing Order 215, A and I of the National Assembly of Zambia, Standing Orders 2024, and also National Assembly Daily Parliamentary Debates of Tuesday, 12 November 2019.
Madam First Deputy Speaker then informed the House that she had reviewed the verbatim record and the relevant video footage of the proceedings of the material day and observed that Mr. Kafwaya MP had indeed misconducted himself in the House and showed disrespect to Mr. Second Deputy Speaker, who was in the chair at that time. She then guided the House on the need for members to conduct themselves at all times in a manner that upheld the dignity and decorum of the House.
Having considered the seriousness of the offense committed by Mr. Mutotwe Kafwaya MP, Madam First Deputy Speaker, in accordance with Section 28 of the National Assembly, Powers and Privileges Act, decided to suspend Mr. Mutotwe Kafwaya MP from the service of the National Assembly for a period of 30 days, and the question to the House, and a division was called. The House voted. The results of the votes were as follows. The yes had 54, the no's 18, and abstention 0. Division list number 2, the question was resolved in the affirmative.
Mr. M. Kafwaya MP was accordingly suspended for a period of 30 days with effect from Thursday, 18 September 2025. Madam First Deputy Speaker then proceeded to reprimand Mr. M. Kafwaya MP in absentia for his disorderly conduct in the House and reiterated that gross indiscipline and misconduct would not be tolerated from any member. In accordance with Section 28(3) of the National Assembly Powers and Privileges Act, Madam First Deputy Speaker directed that during the period of suspension, Mr. M. Kafwaya MP should not enter the precincts of the Assembly and the National Assembly Motel, participate in any activity of the Assembly or any committee that was assigned to as Member of Parliament, and be paid the salary or allowance he was entitled to as a member.
After that ruling by Madam First Deputy Speaker, two urgent matters without notice were raised under Standing Order 142, and the first one came from Luban Senshi, Member of Parliament, Mr. Taulo Chewe, on whether the government will continue the issuance of national registration cards across the country. This matter was inadmissible.
And the other urgent matter without notice did come from Mr. Twasa on the rising incidences of human-animal conflict in the country, and this urgent matter was equally inadmissible. So those were the two urgent matters without notice that were considered on the floor of the House yesterday.
After that, the House considered a question for oral answer number 12 under Standing Order 82. The House also went on to consider questions for oral answer numbers 13 to 15 under Standing Order 80.
After that, we had resumption of debate on thanks of this assembly be recorded for the exposition of public policy content in the President's address. Members of Parliament are actually debating the presidential, speech. The President was here in the chamber addressing the National Assembly and of course the nation at large last week during the official opening of the fifth session of the 13th National Assembly, and so members of Parliament are actually debating the presidential speech. And there being no further debate on the motion, it did stand adjourned, and the House adjourned accordingly yesterday at 18:39. That's it. That's the business that was considered on the floor of the House yesterday. Time now to look at today's business.
Today, Friday, 19th September 2025, on the order paper we have announcements if there will be any urgent matters without notice. We also have Her Honor the Vice President's question time, a segment of 45 minutes where members of Parliament are given an opportunity to ask Her Honor the Vice President questions without notice.
We expect the Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Mutolo Piri, to make a ministerial statement on the preparation for agriculture farming inputs for the 2025-2026 farming season.
After that, we expect the House to consider one question for oral answer under Standing Order 82. This one will come from Chinsali, Member of Parliament, Mr. Kalalwe Mukosa, and he will be directing his question to the Minister of Energy. He wants to find out a question in two parts: whether the government is aware that for the past 1 month, Chinsali district has been experiencing a critical shortage of fuel, thereby affecting service delivery in essential sectors such as health. And in the other part of the question, he wants to find out, if so, what urgent measures have been taken to resolve the problem.
And last on today's order paper, we have resumption of debate on thanks the President's address. That the thanks of this assembly be recorded for the exposition of public policy content in the President's address. So we do expect more members of Parliament to continue debating the presidential speech. And so that's the business that is going to be considered on the floor of the House today, Friday, 19th September 2025. We expect a ministerial statement from the Minister of Agriculture, and of course one question for oral answer under Standing Order number 82, and Her Honor the Vice President's question time, which allows members of Parliament to ask Her Honor the Vice President questions without notice, will be coming up right here in the chamber. Matimba.
And so if you want, you can follow the proceedings on our Facebook page, which is the National Assembly of Zambia, and also on our YouTube page. Just now we take you to the floor of the House as we wait for Madam Speaker's procession to make its way to the chamber.
Honorable members of Parliament, Madam Speaker.
Tendency of Zambia, proud and free, land of faith and joy in unity, victors in the struggle for our rights. We want freedom's fight, oh, one, strong and free. Africa is our own motherland, fashioned with and blessed by those to blend. Let us all our people join as one, brothers under the sun, oh, one, strong and free. One land and one nation is our cry. Dignity and peace in Zambia's sky, like a noble eagle in its flight. Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one, strong and free. Praise be to God, praise be, bless our great Zambia, Zambia, Zambia. Remain we stand under the flag of our land, Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one, strong and free.
Prayer. Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to consider with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you've been pleased to call to the performance of such important responsibilities in this land. Let your blessing descend upon us here in Parliament assembled, and grant that we may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you've committed to our charge. Amen. Honorable members, I have one announcement to make. Honorable members, I wish to recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Eliana Trust School in Lusaka District. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I warmly welcome the visitors in our midst. Thank you. You may take your seat. Urgent matters without notice. The Honorable Member for Chama North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for according me this opportunity to ask a matter, urgent matter without notice. Madam Speaker, the urgent matter without notice is directed to the Minister of Finance and National Planning. Unfortunately, I can't see him there. Then I'll direct it to the leader of government business. Madam Speaker, today is 19th September 2025. We are almost closing this year. Unfortunately, Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Finance has not yet released money to the Ministry of Local Government, money meant for Constituency Development Fund. I'm aware that, for example, for Chama North, we have not received more than 12 or 10 million kwacha, and the other constituencies in Eastern Province, I've been consulting my colleagues in Eastern Province, some have received 8 million. Since January this year, I don't know whether other constituencies they have received in full, because I'm not seeing our colleagues complaining. Madam Speaker, projects have stalled, and as you are aware, we are entering the rain season. Rural constituencies, you can only work in October. November, when the rain starts, these areas are not accessible. Meaning that even when the money comes in December, January, the contractors will not be on site until next year in April. So at what time are contractors going to work if up to this time, not even half of the 36 million has been paid? Constituencies are struggling even to pay loans and grants. And people are troubling MP that we are not working, we are not pushing the government. That's why this CDF is not being paid. So I seek your serious indulgence in this matter, whether the Minister of Finance is in order to keep quiet without coming to this August House to tell us what is the challenge. Because
you have made your point clear.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chama North. The matter that you've brought out, this is it's not a new matter. When you are looking at matters without notice, urgent matters without notice, these are supposed to be raised within 24 hours of its occurrence. But you brought a matter where you talked about the money being not sent from January to date. So this is an odd matter. However, looking at how serious the issue is, you can raise an urgent question. The Honorable Member for Nyimba.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, my matter of urgent importance goes to the Minister of Agriculture. Some parts of our country, we are told it was showery. And a district like mine, my constituency, Nyimba, God blessed us, we had the bump harvest. And as of today, Madam Speaker, a good part of, should I say, what we call in Eastern Province and Sengaland, we have enough corn which is supposed to be stored in secured places. A shed and some of the sheds, especially those in Nyimba districts, have been grabbed and given to our sister constituents called Petaoke district, Petaoke Central constituency, where my brother comes from. Today, we don't have where to put corn, when our colleagues in Petaoke have got access place where to put corn. And the danger is that Nyimba is so vast that some of the maize are 80 kilometers to the Boma where we should store the maize, and we foresee losing a big number of tonnages out there because one shed which is domiciled in Nyimba district, it's being managed by Petaoke district. So my question, I need your intervention, Madam Speaker. Why is the Minister of Agriculture decided to deprive the people of Nyimba, the storage which is in Nyimba, and give it to a Petaoke district? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Nyimba, again, this is an odd case. I would advise you to sometimes discuss with the Minister of Agriculture. Just go to his office, have a discussion with him. However, you can bring it back to the House using another platform, so that if you don't go to have a discussion with the Minister, it can be attended using another platform. We make progress. Her Honor, the Vice President's question time. The Honorable Member for Bwacha.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And good morning, Madam Vice President. Honorable Madam Speaker, if you recall, the Minister of Infrastructure and Urban Development, when we stood on this floor of the House, he continued to assure this House and the nation at large and the people of Kabwe district that the people of Kabwe will rejoice and they will be very, very happy when the government will move to Kabwe district to work on the township roads in Kabwe district. But to my dismay, Madam Speaker, only 10 kilometers of roads have been awarded to be done in Kabwe district. And we have shared.
The Honorable Member for Bwacha, please take into consideration time. You've already taken 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Madam
Honorable
Speaker.
Members, summarize your questions so that we take in as many members as possible.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for your guidance. So only 10 kilometers has been given, 5.5 has gone to Kabwe Central, and 4.5 has gone to Bwacha Parliamentary Constituency. Madam Vice President, would you inform the people of Kabwe District, in particular Bwacha Parliamentary Constituency, what could have necessitated the 60 kilometers that was supposed to be given to the people of Kabwe? Now it has reduced to 10 kilometers, Bwacha 4.5 kilometers. I submit.
Honor the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good morning, Honorable Bwacha. And thank you for that question. Thank you very much. The assurance that was given by the Minister of Infrastructure that the roads, I think that's what you are referring to, that when the main road, the Lusaka road will be done, Kabwe will also township roads. Now you are saying the township are just 10 kilometers that have been given. It becomes very difficult for me standing here without real, brief from the Ministry of Infrastructure, because there are so many projects going on. I don't even know exactly whether the 10 kilometers you are talking about or another program, because there are other townships where roads are being done under different programs. I would need to understand. It's a little too specific. What is this? Please stick to policy matters. I'm sorry to fail you, but you'll have to ask that in a different way for me or the Minister to respond to. Thank you.
The Honorable Member for Katombola.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity for us to ask the Vice President. Madam Vice President, good morning, our mother. Ma'am, allow me to begin by thanking the mighty UPND party for the victory in the by-elections yesterday. The message is very clear in Chimbamironga constituency. that UPND has gone everywhere and is everywhere. We scooped yesterday, Chishi Ward, landslide. We won very, very clearly, Madam Speaker, so we wish to toast the UPND for communicating throughout the country. Madam Vice President, my question is order. My question, Madam Vice President.
Please continue with your question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Vice President, the people in Katombola constituency, particularly Linyao, have bumper harvest. Now there is that FRA may stop buying maize once they reach the threshold. There is panic that if FRA reaches the threshold of the maize they want to buy this year, they may not be able to sell. So they are accused, they are competing to sell to an extent whereby there are commotions on the queues. Could you assure the nation that government will continue to buy the maize through FRA for all those people that have queued centers? I thank you, Madam Vice President.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Katombola, and good morning. You even ordered the House today. Indeed, I will echo your words. Congratulations to the mighty UPND for winning the elections in Chimbamilonga and other places. Yes, Mpulungu is part of the game. We congratulate you for Mpulungu. With a very tiny margin. Whether that is sustainable, madam, anyway, that is not the issue. The real issue, thank you, congratulations, but more, for keeping these elections peaceful, we must all work towards keeping elections peaceful. That is what is important, because we are a democracy. Elections will be there, but Democrats behave in a certain manner that you respect one another. When others win, when we win, that's okay. Your concern is indeed, first, it is the bumper harvest in Katombola. We acknowledge that, because others will say there's no bumper harvest. What do you mean? Thank you, Honorable, for acknowledging bumper harvest, which comes with the guidance from the leadership of this country, the President, encouraging people to go into production. And this is why you can go and assure people of Nyao that the government, through Hakainde Hichilema, that called on the people to farm, to grow maize, and still hoping for the 10 million metric tons, cannot abandon them. Cannot abandon them. And this is to all, madam. FRA is not about to stop buying. There should be no panic. I think there was already a pronouncement to that, but we can just reassure you that, tell them this government will not abandon the people that produce the maize. We will purchase the maize, and we know what to do with the maize. Thank you very much.
The acting leader of opposition.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, the Vice President, you recently visited the Copper Belt. And when you're on the Copper Belt, you had the opportunity to meet residents from Kalushi who were complaining about the water along the Kafua River, in terms of its contamination. You were also told about the various lawsuits that have taken place, where the residents have sued for about 420 million, and another company has sued Sino Mining for about $80 billion. Madam, Speaker, I would like to find out from Her Honor the Vice President, considering the revelations that have come out, where the Zema CEO has gone AWOL, and the company that was contracted to help in solving the contamination has been brought into an argument of the Sinometals feels this South African company is trying to bribe them or push them out of business or something like that. But for the residents, what message do you have for them to assure them that this contamination of the water will be resolved? Because the current situation doesn't look attractive at all. That is why the residents have even sued the company. Thank you.
Her Honor the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Maybe the Honourable Member can repeat so that I pick the concern, because it's a long story.
The Acting Leader of Opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
In summary,
I started by reminding you over your visit to the Copper Belt.
you can stop the watch.
I started by reminding you over your visit to the Copper Belt, and amongst the engagements you had the opportunity of meeting residents from Kalulushi who have sued the company called Sinometal over $420 million for the fear of their health. They feel the water has been contaminated, and this has come out because Zema, who are supposed to be the ones supervising and ensuring that the water in Kafue River is properly, is properly resolved and becomes safe for the people. But unfortunately, there has been a disagreement, which has led to your chief executive of Zema running away from Zambia. It's somewhere in South Africa, according to the reports that have come out, after it was discovered that the company from South Africa, which was responsible for having resolved this condition, they had differed with Sinometal over the emissions that have gone into the river. Now, what I find out from government is, based on your visit, what other practical steps have you taken to encourage our people? Because that's why they have decided to sue the company. They have noticed it's not clear what government is trying to do to make sure that their water becomes safe. And it's not just the residents of Kalulushi. Even for us in Mufulira, Mulonga water pumps water from Kafue River. That is why I've raised this concern. The practical steps that the government is taking to make sure that our people have confidence that indeed this contamination is being resolved.
Her Honor the Vice President.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member for Kantanshi and Acting Leader of Government Business.
Opposition.
A big promotion. Anyway, I'm still here, but Acting Leader of Opposition. Thank you. Yeah, we are very serious concern. But maybe I can use a bit of this time, Madam, to explain a bit of what has happened. That I went to and went even Sino mining place offices. I think there is a little bit of disinformation in this matter. Government has done everything possible. There is no eating here. It is straightforward. According to our laws, the EMA Act, when a pollution of that nature happens, indeed Zema comes in. But one thing we need to understand as a country is that whatever happens to do with pollution or any danger it is the polluter that takes the responsibility. It's the polluter that takes the responsibility. And that was made very clear using the law that Sino had to pay for everything. That was done. The issue of a war, I don't think really an institution can go away. Individuals have the right to move on. It's a very different matter. Yeah. Zema is still there. Zema was there. Yes, preliminaries, there are things a polluter does. And in the beginning, you will remember that we had to ensure the water was not dangerous anymore. The danger... the sons. Yeah, it is such a long story that I would like to bring it out, but I don't know whether I will have the time properly. No. But Sino was made to do what they needed to do. The cost you saw green economy, you saw provincial minister, you saw who else was there? Culture. Everybody was on board to ensure that nobody dies. Colleagues, nobody dies. The first thing is don't drink this water. Yes? Even the plants, you are talking of Mulonga water, Nkana water. Whoever draws from that part of Kafue was stopped from giving this water. This is a fact. You heard, you saw. And therefore, any cost that went to providing water for close to 10 days, 7-10 days, water was being given to the people. There was a proper public announcement that people should not eat the fish that was dying from the river. That was to protect the lives of our people. That was being made all the time. These ministers were sleeping all over through to Mumbwa. That is a fact. They were there. You saw, honorable member should be able to help her own country in telling people what happened. We will invite you now.
Order, the honorable the floor. No, you haven't given the floor. Find another way of communicating to our honor the Vice President.
Thank you very much, Madam. I know that people were seen, the minister saw people right there who are political leaders, some of them. What happened, Honorable, is that water was being provided to the communities. That includes Kitwe. And after the water was being tested, not scientific, but they have no other ways to use, they were using the pH level, they call it. There is a standard for Zambia, there is a standard for WHO that is acceptable. To see the acidic levels, nobody was allowed to drink that water, to draw that water, and until the levels reached acceptable levels. So the water in the Kafue, when it comes to pH, which is the acidic, I believe, is at normal level. And you know, acid cannot stay in a human being and not kill, colleagues, even if I'm a scientist. Just having all of you, particularly in here, take acid at a certain level, and then it takes days. Is that possible? No. We would have seen so many days. So we had to do that. Now, following the Zema Act, they paid for everything. Sino paid for the lime, that is alkaline, that was being used to neutralize the acid. So I don't know why people want to use other beings to make money. You don't do that. I don't know. You talked of now, what is the process? The process is, number one, I may not go through it all, but the polluter must take action even to try and clean out. That is something that they are given by the Act through ZEMA to tell them, can you clean? But even that, the kind of pollution we had cannot be left to the polluter. I am addressing you, Honorable, and everybody. Therefore, there was need to find somebody to assess the extent of damage. After that is done, then there would be need, there was need, and there is need to find somebody to do assurance of the kind of cleaning they will have done, or indeed clean if it is not properly done. Another company that the polluter must pay for. This was done. That's why you talked about a company that was contracted through ZEMA. I think that's the company you're talking about. ZEMA. The contract is supposed to facilitate. The contract is between the polluter and the company. They agree on terms and so on. And that was done with the company we are talking about. But what happened along the way, there were breaches, they failed to work together. That is very important. So when the contractual they failed, they refused to work together. I don't want to go into nitty-gritties that could bring just more confusion, but they failed to work together. This didn't mean that as a government, then we say you have failed. What do? We took over, government took over the process of ensuring this. And I can tell you, I chair that committee now. Yeah. That's why I went there. Yes. As I am talking, yes, under disaster, these ministers are there. What has happened, when that failed, we had to start a process. Who is talking?
Order, honorable members. Order.
You see, truth will always prevail. It doesn't matter where you belong. This is about the lives of our Zambian people. They'll continue talking and stop.
Honorable Vice President, I don't know if you can summarize the remaining bit. Honorable
I will summarize at the expense of being misunderstood because it's a long story. But what I'm saying is we took over. As we are here, we have signed, we have ensured that Sino, in the presence of ZEMA, has signed into another one. That the payment is for Sino, but there is a company that is already signed. That's why I wanted the name, Applied Sciences Technology, something like that. That is the company that right now is going to do assessment. But in the meantime, like where you saw me go, Sino has been cleaning. But we cannot rely 100% on them because they are the polluters. That's why the assessor will still go through. If they accept that where they have cleaned, it's okay, then that's okay. But if they say there is still room to clean, we will definitely have another one. The issue we have now is the issue of, sorry madam, it's a big story this one. The issue we have now is the heavy metals. Heavy metals. That is what people are talking about. We do the tests. We have the samples. Yes, in certain places it's higher. But we will wait until the people who know give us the report. The assessor is now signed. That contract you talked about is gone. That is between them. How they will pay each other, it's up to them. But honestly, if you sign a contract, you are contracted, are you, whose report is that? The lawyers here. When you sign a contract with somebody and you are supposed to produce a report, whose report is that one? Is it yours or the person paying? So I'll leave it to you. Because that report, Sino who is paying for it, is their report. Until they agree whether to throw it out. But we are aware that an amount was paid towards that, not in full. That's theirs. But we have, the process goes on, the assessor is on site. Those people that are going there, I was there. The people are saying, we are affected. These are people of Lusali. They didn't even know the vernacular word. Thank you very much. That is the scenario. I can give more information, but as you can see, there are other questions that people want to ask.
Thank you. But Your Honor, if you've got still some very important information, you can still come back in a form of ministerial statement. The Honorable Member for Karabo Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The government has so many interventions to alleviate the sufferings of the Zambians, especially the vulnerable people, of which we have social cash transfer and the recently introduced cash for work, of which we got from the President's speech that the cash for work has to continue. Your Honor, Karabo District, where Karabo Central belongs, the beneficiaries of these two schemes have a concern. And I think this concern is for nationwide. The concern is the flow of money. The beneficiaries, especially those under cash for work, as I'm speaking to you right now, they are being owed not less than 3 months of unpaid dues. So I would want you to comment on the collaboration between the local government, under which the local council falls, and the collaboration between local government and the finance, so that the beneficiaries can get it from you, whether these arrears will be paid or the arrears won't be paid. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Honorable Madam Speaker. And thank you for taking note of the fact that there are many interventions that government is undertaking in the form of social protection. And you have mentioned it too, but your concern is that the beneficiaries have not been given this for the past 3 months. I cannot, because all of us understand this, I will just give you the response that the 3 months will surely be paid. I'm sitting next to the Minister of Finance, and this is noted, and the 3 months backlog will be given to the beneficiaries anytime soon. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll balance up. The Honorable Member for Narolo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I would like to commend government for moving in on the Sino issue. And I feel we need a ministerial statement on this issue because it's a very serious issue. Your Honor, the Vice President, as a member of the Caucus on Environment, our concern is not the acid, it is the toxic metals whose effects on health will not be seen today. Now, I want to ask
is there any preliminary report on how long it will take to clean up the Kafue River? Because a similar pollution in the state of Louisiana in the USA, it took 10 years to clean up in such a scenario. Is there a preliminary report on how long it would take, particularly to clean up the heavy metals which build up in the body? I know people are being stopped from using the water, but behavior cannot be completely regulated. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor the Vice President.
Mpondo, I'm Vice President.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Nalolo, and I think that's the guidance from Madam Speaker. And even for us, we thought indeed a ministerial statement would be better, to have more time for people to ask. But what you say is very important, and I think if you listened to the bit I've talked about, I said today the issue is not acidic. It is the toxic, you called them the heavy metals. And we, even the preliminary, we do have preliminary that are very assuring. But even if that is not enough, that's why we have the assessor. That is why the assessor, whose contract we signed this week, I can't tell you the actual date because when I talked to them, they hadn't signed, but I'm assured it has been signed. These are that will give us the actual position of the heavy metals for us then and for them to determine how long will it take. But what we have as preliminary, which we don't want to 100% rely on, is very assuring that it's not as horrible. But that is preliminary. Let us wait. Let us wait for the assessor's report. Then we will know how bad it is. But people have been encouraged, water is being given where there was direct pollution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and Madam Vice President, great constituency of Northwestern in general, who are eagerly waiting for that university and also the teaching hospital, especially that the is growing. Madam, the nation has a leader who is well organized, a leader who is leading a party that is organized, and a team that is well organized to grow this economy. Madam Speaker, I want to find out through you what message or what call the Vice President has to the Zambian people for those parties who are disorganized, being led by disorganized leaders. As we head for 2026, what call do you have for the Zambian people amidst a well-organized president with a very organized party against the disorganized parties being led by the disorganized leaders? What call do you have for the nation? Thank you.
Her Honor the Vice President.
Thank you. Thank you.
Order, honorable members.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the honorable member and just assure him that this government walks the talk. So any promise to that effect will be definitely followed through. But he has talked of disorganized parties led by disorganized leaders, by disorganized. We have to go back to what I would understand as a party. If there are these disorganized parties led by disorganized leaders, that means there are no parties. Yeah. Because a party is an organization. That means organized. I hope I'm giving you the answer.
Order. Can we give chance to our Honor the Vice President to respond quietly? You may continue, our Honor the Vice President.
Anyway, don't abuse the name of Jesus. I was saying, Madam, that the honorable members talked of disorganized parties and disorganized leaders and disorganized, I don't know how many disorganizations. What, therefore, I can interpret from there or understand is that there is no party. Because a party is an organization. Just by the word party, it means organized. So if there is disorganization, that means no party. Then I can say, can people then form parties if they want parties? Because by his description, there is no party.
The Honorable Member for Isoka.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Her Honor, the Vice President, good morning. Her Honor, the Vice President, I've been forced to ask this question because I've received messages from Isoka that I should ask this question. Her Honor, your Vice President, Isoka constituents farmers haven't been paid, especially there are about 14 satellites which haven't been paid, Madam Speaker, including Chembe. He has just told me. Her Honor, the Vice President, when are the farmers in Isoka constituents, especially those in 14 satellites, going to be paid? I submit, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good morning, Honorable Member for Isoka, and thank you for your greetings. Your concern for the farmers is that they have not been paid. I hope that some have been paid. You didn't make it very clear. You can sit, maybe. I'm just clarifying. If some have... Okay. Thank you.
Paid,
Thank you very much. I was saying the issue that some have been paid is an indicator that everybody will be paid. Who can believe this government? There is no theft. If we carry maize and we don't pay, we will pay. And people must just hold their peace. When they have given the maize to FRA, it is forward, and therefore the money, it will be given at the right time. But the payment has been continuous, slowly being paid. You can assure the people of Isoka and your neighbor Chembe that they will get their money. They grow the maize, they will get their money. Thank you.
The Honorable Member for Mwandi.
Madam Speaker, thank you so very much for the opportunity to ask a question to our Honor the Vice President. Madam Vice President, good morning. Madam Speaker, we've noted with concern the dwindling number of female representation in Parliament, at local government level and other levels. Currently in 2021, only 20 members of Parliament made it to Parliament through elections, and at government level, local government, we only had 7.6%. And one of the reasons that women have not wanted to come on the political scene is the political violence that was there before. With the coming of the New Dawn government, we have seen unprecedented peace even during elections or elections that are happening, where, you know, the see the interaction with different political parties without any violence that is involved. But Her Honor the Vice President, I wanted through you for elections. What message do you have for to joining? What and assurance as we, Madam Vice President, I submit.
Her Honor the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and good morning, honorable members. Women participation in politics, I guess, is the concern and the reasons that cause women to stay away, one of them being violence. I'm saying one of them, but there are several other reasons why women stay away from participating in politics of the country. What is my message? My message is, as noted by yourself, honorable member, is that we are working towards ensuring that the environment where politics play is made peaceful, is made acceptable. This is what this government has done. Today, we can sit here not even so much aware of the by-elections going on. The election was a but we should also ensure that there are no insults. It can be very demeaning for a mother to be insulted, to be called names. This is very deterring to women. Let us also make that space of bad language about women to end. Don't call a woman names. It is very, very bad and deterring. And I can say women rise is never given. Space in participation is hardly given. But matter to give women, let women rise. Because when women rise, the environment changes. They bring life with them because they are a source of life. Come, where women lead, peace prevails. We need you, women. We need you everywhere. Don't look down on yourself. They may have a lot of money, but you have what it takes. Stand up and be counted. Those that stand in our way, this time we will also be very woman rise. They will not give it to you.
The honorable member.
Honourable Vice President, good morning. And just to re-echo my fellow Member of Parliament from Wandi, indeed we should support more representation of women. But unfortunately, Madam Vice President, you are leaving us behind. I'm the only Member of Parliament on the Copper Belt. You come into my district, no call, I watch you on television. I hope moving forward we can change this narrative. My question, Madam Vice President, Cyanometals, the controversial mining entities in my constituency, and if I was invited, I would have made a proper presentation to you, because Cyanometals is not the only pollutant in that constituency. I wish to bring to your attention, Madam Vice President, as we are looking at Cyanometals, I want you to be aware that there are also a lot of mining smelting companies coming up without the approval of the council. ZEMA has not done any EIA. We are having these smelters in our communities, Madam Vice President. Are you also aware that metals, there is an investor from I don't know where who has come and they're putting up an open pit? Madam Vice President, for the sake of my people in Chambishi and the women that you, Madam Vice President, is representing, can we please get on the ground and find what is happening? Kalulushi in itself today. Look at the Kitwe Kalulushi Road, Madam Vice President.
Honorable Member for Kalulushi. Is there a question or maybe
there is a question, Madam
can you go straight to the question?
Madam Vice
Especially
President,
that there will be a ministerial statement coming.
Madam Vice President, my question to you is that, are you aware that
metals issue. There is add to pollution. As I'm speaking, there are about 4 mining entities, smelters, being erected as you are dealing with the cyanometals issue in our communities. Are you aware that there is a pit mine being put up in my constituency as you are tackling?
Thank you. Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for your guidance. Good morning, Honorable Kaloloshi. Leaving women behind, that's not the intention of this government and indeed the Vice President. Your absence is unfortunate because when we visit, we want, the President has said that, when we go to places, I think it is good. You also feel good to have members of parliament with you. So you may not have been there, not out of intention or negative intention. Are you aware of other polluters? I think that this thing is being monitored. It's big, understand. I may not know how many mines are opening and so on, but pollution, as you have seen from the illegal and the legal, is being taken very, very seriously. And right now, it's not just the ZEMA, under the ZEMA Act, but also under mines. Mine safety. Mine safety has also been told to be, because we want a full report on what in Kalulushi and the other places, particularly that area. There may be many other polluters, but for now we are dealing with sin, and the others will also be brought on board. Actually, there is a deadline I was given that by December we should see a lot of compliance. So there is monitoring of what is going on in the mining industry, on the copper belt and in other places. Thank you.
The Honorable Member for Kwacha.
Thank you for the opportunity given to ask Her Honor a question. Good morning, Your Honor. Succession wrangles are so rampant, Your Honor, in many chieftains across the country. As we speak right now, we have a chiefdom which do not have a presiding chief to spearhead the affairs of their subjects. This situation is quite worrying, and if these wrangles are left unchecked, it may dilute the status of our country, which has been known to be a beacon of peace and tranquility for many, many years. Your Honor, the Vice President, what is the government doing to minimize on these succession wrangles, which are in many, many chiefdoms across the country? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good morning, Kwacha. And you talk of session wrangles in chiefdoms for the who becomes the chief. Maybe because now it is very attractive. But basically you have to go to the law now. Under the law, you remember before government would come in selecting, trying to follow the lineage, who is what. But now it is really up to the chiefdom and the royalty and their own, lineage for them to identify who the chief is. This is the law now. The government finds it difficult to get involved with chief because we don't possess information. This is what it is. It is unfortunate that people can start quarreling, themselves. Or chiefdoms have been like that from time immemorial. Families within the same will fight. But at the end of the day, they should be able, the president encourages them to settle these wrangles. It is not correct because it makes development stall. So what is government doing? Government is still encouraging them to ensure they can have a presiding chief in every chiefdom. But it is not the responsibility of government to interfere. That will be interfering because the law does not give them that right. It can't be intervention. And all we do is under local government, we follow their processes. If they follow it properly, then we accept. This is where, unless the law changes. Thank you.
Thank you. I have permitted the Honorable Minister a ministerial statement. The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Madam Speaker, I rise today to present to this August the status of the distribution of the agricultural inputs for the 2025-2026 farming season under the Farmer Input Support Program. The government of Zambia, through the Ministry of Agriculture, remains committed to supporting our farmers subsidized inputs to enhance food security at both household and national levels. This commitment, Madam Speaker, is fundamental to our agriculture and our vision of making Zambia a food-secure nation, middle-income nation, 2030. Madam Speaker, the Farmer Input Support Program continues to be a flagship initiative of this government designed to subsidize to smallholder farmers across the country. The government has undertaken to enhance the support program. Inputs to small-scale farmers through sustainable private sector participation at affordable costs in order to increase household food and income security. The specific objectives of the program are: 1. Expand markets for private sector input suppliers and increase their involvement in the distribution of agricultural inputs to rural areas. Madam Speaker, as of today, 808 agro-dealers have so far been engaged, therefore creating employment. Remember that each time we come here as ministers, the 808 have registered, and I'm happy that some of you are agro-dealers. Number 2, to ensure timely, effective, and adequate supply of agricultural inputs to targeted small-scale farmers for fertilizer, seed, etc. Madam Speaker, to farmers to various agricultural inputs. For example, Madam Speaker, as at yesterday, 1,205 farmers have their inputs. Madam Speaker, a good report. This is September, and we have already started giving out inputs. The government, this such a farmer, inputs worth 8,400. Madam Speaker, over the years, government through the Ministry of Agriculture has continuously refined and improved the program based on lessons learned, stakeholder feedback, and best practices from other successful agricultural economies. Last year, Madam Speaker, we captured 210,000 non-eligible persons, and to date, as we speak this year, we have already isolated 153 who have been identified as not The transition from direct input supply to the e-voucher modality represents a significant milestone in our efforts to modernize agricultural support systems and in program implementation. To date, FISIP, Madam Speaker, and this is still limited to crop production. To date, the FISIP is still limited to crop production. The e-voucher system has proven to be more efficient, transparent, and farmer-friendly, allowing beneficiaries greater flexibility in choosing their preferred suppliers while maintaining integrity through the robust monitoring system. What a lovely system, Madam Speaker. You give the farmer the chance to go and pick the seed they want. That's what e-voucher does. Madam Speaker, before I report on the significant progress made in the implementation of our agricultural input support program, allow me to remind the House on the journey that has finally brought us to the implementation of a 100% electronic voucher for the 2025-2026 farming season. Madam Speaker, honorable members will recall that up to 2022-2023 season, the FISIP was initially implemented using the direct DIS in all the 116 districts. This is a system where the government will buy a lot of fertilizer and heap it for the farmers and collect. In 2024 season, the e-voucher modality, while 99 districts remained on DIS. In the 2024-2025 season, a total of 74 districts were migrated to the e-voucher system, leaving only on the DIS. And finally, Madam Speaker, in the 2025-2026 season, all the 116 districts across the country will be on the e-voucher system, a progressive, accelerated system where we are learning from the previous mistakes. Madam Speaker, I am happy to report that government has made the landmark decision to expand the e-voucher modality to all the 116 districts across the country, as this nationwide rollout of the e-voucher system will give the following benefits: enhanced transparency in the input distribution. It will reduce leakages and further isolate non-existing beneficiaries. It will improve efficiency in program implementation. It will provide farmers with greater choice in selecting their preferred suppliers. It will enable real-time monitoring of program activities. It will facilitate better coordination between various stakeholders, and it will remove the corruption perception that is often associated with bulk buying. Madam Speaker, this August House may also recall that government issued a cabinet circular, CM11 of 2024, to strengthen implementation and accountability measures of the Farmer Input Support Program. Madam Speaker, I am here bonding of farmers to agency. Therefore, in strict adherence to Cabinet Circular CM11 of 2024, we have implemented the comprehensive accountability measures to ensure that beneficiaries to the program. This means that all bonded farmers who received support in the 2024-2025 farming season will be required, Madam Speaker, to sell 10 of 50 kg bags of maize to the Food Reserve Agency. Not to hand over free of charge, Madam Speaker, but to go and sell to the agency 10 bags, not their entire produce, but just 10 bags. For those who did rice, they will be expected to sell 7 but 40 kg bags of rice to the FRA. These requirements ensure that the farmers contribute to national food security while benefiting from the government support program. Madam Speaker, let me hasten mention here that all the farmers on FISIP have signed a bonding agreement, and according to the agreement, the bonded farmers must sell a minimum of the above mentioned without fail, unless, of course, Madam Speaker, they are exempted from so doing under the vulnerability assessment report issued under the Office of the Vice President. In the absence of this report, the Ministry will remain compelled to actualize this intent. May it be known, Madam Speaker, to this esteemed House, that it is not the wish at all of the Minister of Agriculture to unduly punish farmers. But in the absence of necessary information, we are compelled to follow the laid out guidelines. Therefore, to strengthen monitoring and compliance, the Minister of Agriculture has successfully integrated the Zambia Integrated Agriculture Management Information Systems, YAMIS, with the Food Reserve Agency systems. This integration enhances our ability to track maize sales by FISI beneficiaries and ensures accountability to the program. Furthermore, in order to maintain the integrity of the FISI program, we are implementing a comprehensive replacement system for ineligible farmers. New beneficiaries will replace those farmers who have been identified and removed from the program due to non-compliance of program requirements. Madam Speaker, FISIP does not absorb civil servants. So, if someone is a civil servant, they will be taken out, they will be captured. Now the system is so comprehensive. We will capture and take them out and replace them. Madam Speaker, in response to the parliamentarians' call, let it be on record that our farmers can use the receipt from the FRA to qualify to redeem their inputs, as this will be deemed that the farmers have sold their maize as per agreement. For those on the queue and have not yet delivered, they can pay the 400 kwacha and attach the receipt so that they can redeem their inputs without delay. Madam Speaker, it was in this House that the Minister of Agriculture was guided that if farmers sell maize and they are not yet paid, they must be able to use that receipt as payment for the 400 kwacha. This is what we are talking about here. We have implemented it this season following your guidance to us as a ministry, and we are happy to report back positively. Allow me now to report the current implementation status as of 17th September 2025. Number one, on farmer compliance and sales. Madam Speaker, as at that date, 300,000 bonded farmers representing 30% of the 2024-2025 farming season beneficiaries have successfully sold maize to FRA. So what this means is that within that, farmers who were bonded, they have paid their 400 and they will be eligible to go and redeem for their inputs. Input collection. Input collection. Government has already started the distribution of inputs for the 2025-2025 farming season, and collection by farmers who have received redeeming codes is progressing satisfactorily. Very good report, Madam Speaker. We have started giving out inputs. 3, strengthening private sector networks. Madam Speaker, we have learned over the years that the success of our the success of the Farmer Input Support Program significantly depends on a robust network of agro-dealers. I'm therefore pleased to report the progress in this area of market development as follows. Out of the 1,362 agro-dealer applications that we received, 808 have been approved, representing 53%. Government is still accepting applications from potential agro-dealers. We are still receiving and considering applications. So do apply, honorable members. You are not late at all. We will consider your application. Product cataloging, that is what we put on what a farmer can redeem, such as fertilizer, seed, lime, chemicals, and implements on Ziamis platform by suppliers, is also progressing very, very well. Madam Speaker, allow me to emphasize on non-personal engagements. Agro-dealers who will be found discounting vouchers for money will not be eligible to be on the program. we will eliminate you and report you for economic sabotage. This also goes to the beneficiaries. Our farmers are cautioned against selling their inputs and discounting their vouchers for cash. If we catch you, we will disqualify you. The disadvantage of giving inputs early is that farmers get tempted to sell some of those inputs, especially dubious farmers who are not genuine farmers. Additionally, Madam Speaker, agro dealers are cautioned against supplying non-certified seed, non-certified fertilizers and chemicals, as this is tantamount to sabotage of the economy, and therefore you commit a criminal offense when you do such a thing, and this offense is non-bailable, and the jail term is pretty severe and long. A very serious warning to all agro dealers and our people who sell fertilizers. In addition, agro dealers are encouraged to open up their outlets closer to the farmers in order to reduce the transport costs associated with the long distance. Allow me to thank the President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, for the continued support to the FISI program. Madam Speaker, huge resource outlays are made available on an annual basis to make the program successful. Therefore, my honorable colleagues are hereby reminded that the government allocated, through what we did here at Parliament, a significant investment of 9.2 billion kwacha to our agricultural sector to ensure the successful implementation of the program during the 2025-26 season. The government commitment to maintaining adequate funding for the agricultural inputs demonstrates our recognition of the importance of the agricultural sector. As a key driver of economic development and poverty reduction, this eventually results in rural development, employment creation, and, Madam Speaker, bumper harvests, which we are very proud of. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, I wish to inform the House and the nation at large that government has the interest of the farmers at heart and will continue to improve the delivery of sustainable agriculture programs in an efficient and effective manner to enable farmers to redeem farming inputs of their choice in good time. We are proud to start the distribution of inputs in September. The long-term plan, Madam Speaker, is that this should be a non-seasonal process in light of the irrigation and mechanization facilities that the government is promoting through SAF and other related programs. So going forward, this will be unnecessary because every year fertilizer, seeds, etc. will be available. That's where we want to put Zambia, every month. Allow me to take this opportunity to thank all the hardworking farmers of Zambia for their bumper harvest that has never ever been recorded before in the history of Zambia. Madam Speaker, I thank you, and I'm a very happy colleague of Honorable Kampyongo, who is questioning the bumper harvest, and yet his province has done very well. I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable members, before I invite you to ask questions on points of clarification, let me just make it clear when the ministerial statement is supposed to be delivered to the House. That is the ministerial statement on the status of the water pollution and what the government has done so far in the affected areas. The Minister of Water Development and Sanitation will make that ministerial statement on Thursday next week, because after that there will be a long break of 20 days. So before we forget about that topic, maybe the minister can come back to the House on Thursday next week. Thank you. Honorable members are now free to ask questions on points of clarification on the ministerial statement presented by the Honorable Minister of Agriculture. The Honorable Member for Pambashi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for well-articulated ministerial statement. Honorable Minister, with the complaints that are coming from our farmers concerning the 10 bag that they are supposed to sell from to FRA, did the ministry sensitize our farmers the importance about the 10 bag that they are supposed to sell to their farmers, so that, because some are saying, if we don't sell the 10 bags, we are not eligible for the FISIP. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I would like to assure the Honorable Member, Mr. Justin Kapema, that indeed all the farmers were well informed. They actually signed a bonding form, put their own signature, agreed that as a way of helping the country build this reserve, of what they get, sell just 10 bags. 10 bags. Why wouldn't anyone, Madam Speaker, want to sell to the Food Reserve Agency, which has the highest price in the country? Why wouldn't anyone sell? We are only asking for 10 bags of the harvest that they have. The complaint is in areas where there was bad rain and there were floods. And as a listening government, we are saying, can those areas report themselves to the office of the Vice President? Then the office of the Vice President will tell us not to take that issue of the 10 bags so that we release them. I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kwacha.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And thank you, Honorable Minister, for that comprehensive ministerial statement. My question is on the increment on the number of packs as well as beneficiaries. Do you have those intentions for the current season to increase the number of packs as well as beneficiaries? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Madam Speaker, as a ministry, we work on what the budget has provided. And as at now, what the budget has provided does not have provision for an increase. We are encouraging all those who would like to get this facility to apply for SAF so that they can actually get a bigger part of resource and do much more than they can do with the FISIP. The FISIP only gives you 6 bags. You can do more if you do the SAF. So for now, Madam Speaker, unless the Parliament decides otherwise, no, there is no increase to the FISIP. I thank you.
The Honorable Member for Pemba.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. Honorable Minister, congratulations for leading this bumper harvest and recording the highest ever. Mr. Minister, in as much as you have clearly indicated that those who were bonded and did not perform or did not harvest, they should engage the office of the Vice President or DMMU. Would you consider, Honorable Minister, using your officers? I believe you have camp officers who actually in contact with these farmers and who have the data as which farmer did not produce. And this information can easily be availed to your office. Honorable Minister, it is really a challenge because you may have actually gotten information that some people have been selling cows, others they are using commercial farmers to get their, to get the maize and sell. And in addition, people are being told that when they get the fertilizer, they will have to pay the owner of the maize that they used to supply. And as such, it is also becoming difficult for your office to know which areas do not produce, because you will find that people have supplied and yet they didn't actually produce such maize. Could you please consider using your officers? Honorable Minister, thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank Honorable Amata for that. Let me take advantage, Madam Speaker, of that question to inform the House, and through you, inform the nation, that there was another difficult condition which members complained about, farmers complained about, which we have relaxed and taken out. And that was the sieving of the names through NAPSA. So for all those who had difficulties because their farmers were on NAPSA, I would like to inform you through the Speaker that the ministry has relaxed that. We are not going to eliminate a person who is found on NAPSA recklessly, because some were only put on NAPSA for working for 1 month, others for 2 months, 3 months, and others were just basic general workers, and they were all being swept out of the system. So being a listening government that it is, we have directed, and a memo has already been written by the Permanent Secretary to all provinces, that all those who were eliminated using the NAPSA arrangement will now be eligible on the program. Having said that, the issue of us getting to the OVP, I have heard, Madam Speaker, it was, if you noticed, guidance to us that we should use our system. I will contact the OVP, but I'm encouraging those who are affected that they can also come forward so that we work on this thing together. We don't want to disadvantage any farmer who is failing to sell the 10 bags because of genuine reasons. It is not in our interest to see people suffer. So Chama, Gwembe, Chirundu, Momba, all those areas which have had difficulties, you are free. Let's work together so that we can allow our farmers to proceed on the program other than harassing them. I thank you.
The Honorable Member from Kana.
Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Abene Bansala. The number of citizens across the country who are needing the support of government in terms of farming inputs, has increased. Now, in the spirit of solidarity, the few who are getting supported are being forced to share the little that is being given to them. I think you are aware. 3 weeks ago, I was in your constituents where I found these complaints. Now, Madam Speaker, it will interest you that because of being forced to share the little farming inputs being given, there is now the requirement by FRA that for a farmer to be given support in the next farming season, they must be able by mandate to at least sell 10 bags of maize to FRA. How then, Honorable Minister, do you think that the farmers who are getting fertilizer in medals because of the sharing concept are going to afford to produce enough for them to also be able to sell to FRA 10 bags for them to qualify to get support in the next season? How? Thank you.
Before the Minister comes in, there was an indication for a point of order. The Honorable Member for Katombola.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, you are aware that I rarely raise on point of orders. Now, this point of order is very compelling, Madam Speaker. Is it in order the Member of Parliament for Nkana, without behaving well, to say that is a Minister Abene Bansala when there is a bumper harvest in this country, Madam Speaker, we don't even know how we are going to get all the maize from the farmers. Is in order to press standing order number 71? Is in order this Member of Parliament for Nkana, Madam Speaker, to press on record that Ebene Bansara, the Minister, when there is a bumper harvest in this country, is in order, Madam Speaker, for him to press on record that he is a minister of hunger when he's supposed to congratulate the minister. Is he not, Madam Speaker? I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member Fonkana, what does Abenevansala mean?
Madam Speaker, the member who has risen on a point of order should not come into our relationship as my traditional cousin. Abenevansala means the patron of hunger.
Thank you. Do we have a ministry under that? Because what we know is that the Minister, Honorable Mtolo, is the Minister of Agriculture. So that new word is misleading the citizens of Zambia. There is no such a ministry. So the Honorable Member Fonkana was out of order. There is no ministry called, is it Hunger? The owners of Hunger, there is no such a ministry. So he was totally out of order. The Honorable Minister of Agriculture, you can respond to the question that was raised.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I think it is only fitting that I remind the Honorable Binwa Mpundu that he should always be part and parcel of good things. Madam Speaker, we've never had such a produce in this country in terms of maize. And therefore, yes, we've never had such a produce, never. So, we are very happy. We have never ever, since Zambia was created, produced more than we have produced now. And therefore, I would like to urge Honorable Mpundu, who hardly ever reads, to read that this is the situation. Madam Speaker,
he's responding to your question. Let him finish, then you can raise your point of order. He's responding to your question.
He who never reads should read. Mpundu, you should read, Honorable.
Order, Honorable members. Order.
I've got grade 1 book ABC. I'll give it to you so that you start reading. Now, Madam Speaker, on a serious note, Madam Speaker, the point which was raised by Honorable Mpundu should be taken very seriously. We never ever encourage the sharing of fertilizer. And it is important that all honorable members should encourage their beneficiaries in their constituencies not to allow the sharing. Secondly, Madam Speaker, the perception that is being created by the honorable member by saying that people are sharing fertilizer because there is inadequacy in the system has ably been answered by the government. There is now SAF. Go and apply and you'll be given much more than you can get under FISIP. So it shouldn't arise. I think it should be a collective responsibility for esteemed members of this House to inform their constituents the right thing, other than propagating information which is meant to bring unrest and disharmony, that we are giving less fertilizer deliberately. No, Madam Speaker, I think that should not be allowed. So I would like to educate my good Honorable Mpundu that he should tell his constituents that there is the SAF which we can support so that they do get sufficient fertilizer if they are missed out on the e-voucher. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
I don't know whether that is on a serious note or it's the cousinship. It's cousinship. So, the Honorable Member for Muchinga, the owner of the question.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. And I would like to thank the Honorable Minister of Agriculture for coming out with a statement. Madam Speaker, my question to the Honorable Minister of Agriculture is that there are some people who were beneficiaries up to last year, and this year they are no longer beneficiaries. but they have supplied maize, and they have been deducted the 400 kwachas. Now, the list that is coming to the DACO's offices are not showing their names as beneficiaries. Who is going to refund them the money? That's the question, Madam Speaker. Because they are asking now to say, since we are not on the beneficiaries list for this year, our mandate ended last year of being beneficiaries. But after supplying the maize, the 400 kwachas have been deducted. And now, meaning they are not going to get the fertilizer. So, Honorable Minister, can you tell the people of Muchinga as to who is going to refund them those 500 kwachas? Because it will make problems with the DACO's office, where these people might end up redeeming fertilizer, and then the ones that are supposed to benefit ends up having no space because someone has taken. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Madam Speaker, in an event that that very unusual situation occurs, I would like to assure the Honorable Member that the government will refund, the Minister of Agriculture will refund, if there is a case like that. The government, through the Minister of Agriculture, will refund the 400. I thank you.
The Honorable Member for Chiruvi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving the people of Chiruvi an opportunity to ask the Minister a question. In the Minister's statement, he confirmed that so far 0.01 farmers have paid for the farming inputs out of the 1,024,000 that we have on the data. He further confirmed that Zambia is back to what we used to be called in UMMD promissory notes. And this situation, Madam Speaker, that is where my question arises. Farming includes fertilizer, labor, and many other factors. How do the farmers intend to pay for labor costs, since the e-voucher, according to that presentation of a promissory note, is going to take care of the farming inputs? How are the farmers going to pay for labor costs at the rate we are moving in terms of payments of farmers so far?
The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Chiruvi. I think from the onset I want to put records very straight. The whole morning I've not used the term promissory note. It is a term coined by the Honorable Member, and I would like it to remain with him, not me. I never said that. Having cleared that, Madam Speaker, it was this House that guided us that when farmers are not yet paid but they have delivered maize, can that receipt be used to acquit them so that they can go and redeem? I am bemused. Instead of getting a kudo from my good Honorable Member from Chiruvi, that today he is turning and then he has added labor costs. That, I think, is a different issue. That is payment to farmers. I think we will come with a statement on payment to farmers. Today I was concentrating on fertilizer and how farmers who have delivered maize should not be inconvenienced but use the receipt in order for them to pay the 400. I think that's my concentration. So once more, Madam Speaker, I don't want to be associated with the term promissory note. I didn't say it. I never mentioned it. I thank you.
The Honorable Member for Chama North.
Thank you. First and foremost, at least the people of Chama can now breathe a sign of relief following the assurances by the Minister that they will be exempted from paying the 10 bags because of the drought. As our people were pestered by the camp agriculture coordinators. Now my question, Madam Speaker, Honorable Minister, I'm alive to the fact that the government is spending colossal sums of money subsidizing on fertilizer, and that the 400 kwacha contribution was introduced between in 2015. That's 2015-2016 farming season. Has your government got the plans to adjust upwards this farmer contribution, take into account inflation and depreciation of the kwacha, so that maybe many farmers can be incorporated under FISIP instead of our farmers sharing? Because not most of these farmers are able to get SAF loans. So has the government got any plans to adjust maybe to 400 to 600 kwacha so that many of our farmers can be incorporated under this program? I thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. May I start by correcting the Honorable Member that when you sell the 10 bags, it is not a payment. I would like to be very careful with the language that comes from the Minister of Agriculture. We say sell 10 bags, not pay, because that has a different connotation. It is to sell 10 bags. Number two, Madam Speaker, the Honorable Member started with very powerful economic statements relating to inflation, etc. How would the same minister start asking that we increase the amount which the farmer should pay, who are already harassed by inflation, according to him? So as for now, no, we do not have the intent to increase this. It will remain at 400. Currently, we are satisfied with the 400. It does not labor the farmer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Minister, for your comprehensive statement. Minister, the challenge we have in Skankata is the issue of general workers who are under NAPSA. Some of them, they went just for 2 months under the farmers. But I heard in your response, you said that they will be separated. Now, my question is that how is the separation going to be done, considering that we already have the inputs in our district, and also considering the time that we don't have? So my question is, how is the separation going to be done? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Madam Speaker, I hope that from the term separation, the Honorable Member is saying they will be included. Because what I said this morning is that all those who were isolated by NAPSA will now be included on the program. And the technical competence for that, Madam, we will include them immediately. You will receive a note which shows the names of all those who are isolated because of the NAPSA crowding out. I thank you.
Order. As the time is 10:40 hours, I suspend business for 20 minutes for a healthy break.
Good morning. I would like to thank you for your viewership. Business will resume as on the floor of the House was the Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Mtolo Nopiri, responding to a question that has been posed to him by Chieftaincy Member of Parliament, Ms. Sabao, and this is in relation to a ministerial statement that the Minister of Agriculture did deliver a little while ago on the preparation for the agriculture farming input for the 2025-2026 farming season.
Just now we look at business that has so far been considered on the floor of the House from the time business commenced at 09 hours. Madam First Deputy Speaker did make an announcement. Madam First Deputy Speaker recognized that the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Eliana Trust School in Lusaka District. Madam First Deputy Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, warmly welcomed the visitors to the National Assembly.
We did have Her Honor, the Vice President's question time, 45-minute segment that accords members of Parliament to ask Her Honor, the Vice President, questions without notice. Matimba.
And so far this is business that has been considered on the floor of the House. Just now we go on a break. Remember, business of the House will resume at 11 hours. Keep watching Parliament Television. Good morning.